Disclaimer: this story may unsettle you. It's real, raw, and relentless. A tragedy that demands your attention from the first second. Picture a dark Louisiana night, January 15th, 2023, 3 a.m., Baton Rouge. A rideshare driver glides through a silent subdivision, the roads ghostly under his headlights. Then a jolt. He hits something. In the beam, a young woman lies crumpled, barely breathing, alone. He dials 911, heart pounding, but she's slipping away. Paramedics race her to the hospital, yet hours later, she's gone. This isn't just an accident. What unravels is a sinister tale of betrayal, assault, and a life stolen. Her name was Madison Brooks, a 19-year-old LSU sophomore, radiant, loved, her future limitless. In 6 brutal hours, her world collapsed. This is her story, unflinching, unforgettable, and a call to action. Hit subscribe, drop a like, tell us where you're watching, and dive into a nightmare that screamed for justice. Madison Kennedy Brooks was a beacon of joy. Born in Covington, Louisiana, she grew up enveloped in love, the heart of a close-knit family. Her parents, John Brooks and Ashley Boward, raised her alongside siblings Aiden, Brady, and Kaylin in a home brimming with laughter and warmth. Her grandparents dubbed her their sunshine, a nickname that stuck because Madison radiated light. Her godparents, Hunter and Lauren LeBlanc, watched her blossom from a bright-eyed child into a young woman who carried hope everywhere. At St. Scholastic Academy, a private Catholic school in Covington, Madison wasn't just another face. She left a mark, honor roll year after year, cheerleader igniting school spirit, and a devoted member of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. She joined Dove for Life, championing causes close to her heart, and the Spirit Club, always uplifting her community. Teachers didn't just remember her as a stellar student. They cherished her for her genuine care, her presence, her ability to make a difference. When Madison graduated in 2021, her sights were set high, Louisiana State University, LSU, where she'd chase her dreams. She arrived as a freshman, eager to carve her path, and she did, declaring a major in communication. She found her calling in storytelling, connecting with people, and amplifying voices that mattered. Her acceptance into the prestigious Manship School of Mass Communication was a triumph. Manship, one of the nation's top journalism programs, is fiercely competitive, and Madison earned her spot. Her future was taking shape, a career in journalism where her voice could spark change. But LSU wasn't just about academics for her. She joined Alfie sorority, finding a sisterhood that became family. Her sisters later described her as pure-hearted, her laugh infectious, the kind of person who made everyone feel seen. Madison's spirit was boundless. She went skydiving on a whim, carved down ski slopes with fearless energy, and traveled to new cities, collecting memories like treasures. But her core was family and friends, weekly dinners, long phone calls with her mom, traditions that kept her grounded. She was a girl who lit up every room, not by demanding attention, but because joy poured from her naturally. By January 2023, Madison, 19, was thriving, a sophomore surrounded by friends, a supportive family, and a future unfolding beautifully. She was living the college dream until it became a nightmare. January 14th, 2023. A Saturday night in Tigerland, LSU's pulsating nightlife hub. Reggie's bar, a crowded hotspot, thrums with music and energy. Around 10 p.m., Madison walks in, ready for a typical night out, friends, drinks, fun. It's the kind of evening she's had countless times. But 4 strangers are there too. Kaivon Washington, a teen, Desmond Carter, 17, Casen Carver, a teen, and Everett Lee, 28, Washington's uncle. Madison doesn't know them. They're just faces in the crowd. Yet, their paths are about to collide in the worst way. Surveillance cameras capture the night's unraveling. Madison dances with Carter, hugs him, laughs. It looks like a normal night. But by 1 a.m., she's stumbling, slurring, falling, clearly intoxicated. Friends and strangers help her up, but she's struggling. The 4 men are watching. By 2 a.m., Reggie's calls last call, lights flicker on, and the crowd spills into Louisiana night. This is where it all goes wrong. Footage shows Madison, visibly impaired, following the four men to the parking lot, toward a car. They later claimed she asked for a ride home. Pause here. Madison didn't know these men. She was in no state to make decisions, slurring, unsteady, drunk. Yet, she gets into Carver's car. Carver driving, Lee in the passenger seat, Washington, Carter, and Madison in the back. The car pulls away from Reggie's, disappearing into the darkness. Somewhere in Baton Rouge. It stops. What happens next is the heart of a criminal case still unresolved over 2 years later. Carver, in his own words to investigators, described Madison as very unstable, unable to balance or speak clearly. He knew she was drunk. They all did. Yet, per the arrest affidavit, Washington and Carter allegedly asked her for sex, claiming she consented. But when police asked Carver if Madison was too drunk to consent, he said, "I guess." He admitted feeling uncomfortable, but did nothing. Lee allegedly stepped out during the assault, but stayed silent. Worse, someone in the car recorded a video, Madison, intoxicated, slurring, begging to get out, saying she'd Uber home. At 2:50 a.m., they drop her off near Pelican Lake, a dark subdivision she didn't know. Alone, disoriented, with a blood alcohol level of 0.319%, nearly 4 times Louisiana's legal limit, she wanders. Medical experts say this level risks alcohol poisoning, unconsciousness, and death. Madison staggers onto Burbank Drive. At 3 a.m., a rideshare driver rounds a bend, his headlights catching her too late. Impact. He calls 911, stays at the scene, cooperating fully. Not impaired, not at fault, but shaken. Paramedics rush Madison to the hospital, but her injuries are too severe. Hours later, she's gone. Cause of death, multiple traumatic injuries from a vehicle collision. She was 19. This wasn't just a tragedy, it was a crime. The East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office initially sees an accident. A young woman struck in the dark. But questions gnaw. Why was Madison on that road at 3 a.m.? Who left her there? Surveillance from Reggie shifts the case. Footage shows her arriving at 10 p.m., happy, then deteriorating, stumbling, falling, needing help. By 2 a.m., she leaves with 4 strangers. The autopsy paints a devastating picture. Blood alcohol at 0.319%, THC in her system, and injuries consistent with sexual assault. Investigators tracked the men via license plates. Carver, Lee, Washington, Carter. On January 23, 2023, 8 days after her death, all 4 turned themselves in. Carver admits Madison's drunken state. The assault is inaction. Washington denies everything, demands a lawyer. Carter's juvenile statements are sealed. Lee offers little. Charges follow. Washington and Carter face third-degree rape. Carver and Lee, principal to it, for being present but not intervening. Under Louisiana law, third-degree rape applies when a victim can't consent due to intoxication and the offender knows it. Bonds are set. Carver and Lee post $50,000 and $75,000, walking free. Washington's $150,000 keeps him jailed. Carter, a juvenile, is detained. For Madison's family, there's no release, just grief. The LSU community reels. President William Tate calls it evil, vowing justice. Students hold vigils, candles glowing in the night. Alfie's sisters mourn, revealing Madison's final act. Her heart and kidneys save lives as an organ donor. But the defense fights back, claiming Madison consented. Wasn't that drunk, and they have video proof. At a bond hearing, that video, showing Madison slurring, the men laughing callously, backfires. Judge Brad Myers declares a crime occurred. Carter's charges escalate to first-degree rape. Facing life without parole, Washington faces 2 more rape allegations from 2020 and 2022, one involving a girl attacked at a pool party, another near Madison's death site. The defense tries to introduce Madison's prior sexual history, claiming it explains her injuries. Prosecutors block it, citing Louisiana law barring victim blaming. The case reaches the Louisiana Supreme Court in October 2025, which upholds the ban, a blow to the defense. No DNA links the men to the assault, forcing prosecutors to rely on footage, statements, and Madison's condition. Madison's death sparks action. Reggie's bar, where it began, loses its liquor license for serving underage drinkers, a history of violence sealing its fate. LSU pushes bystander intervention, campus safety reforms. The Madison Brooks Scholarship Fund supports manship students, keeping her storytelling dream alive. Her family fights to prevent another tragedy, their attorneys slamming the defense's shameful tactics. But questions loom. Can prosecutors prove rape without DNA? Will the men walk free? Carver's trial is set for December 1st, 2025. Washington and Carter wait dates. Their cases tangled. The rideshare driver, blameless, carries the trauma of that night. Madison should be 22. She should be a manship graduate, launching her career, telling stories that change lives. Instead, her family visits her grave. Her roadside memorial on Burbank Drive grows. Flowers, candles, notes. We love you, Maddie. Her case forces hard truths. What is consent when someone's blackout drunk? Why didn't bystanders act? How do we protect young women? Universities nationwide rethink policies. But for Madison's family, it's too late. Her legacy isn't just scholarships or reforms. It's a reminder that every victim is a daughter, sister, friend. Madison deserved to live. Her story demands you act. Subscribe, share, join the fight for justice. Don't let her light fade.